Imagine this for just a moment. Somewhere right now, an old coin collection is sitting in a drawer. Maybe it has not been opened in 20 years. Maybe it was passed down from a parent or grandparent. Maybe someone looked at those coins once, saw a few strange dates and foreign designs and thought, these are probably worth nothing. But what if one of those tiny pieces of metal has a story that almost nobody around them understands? Welcome back to American Coin Secrets, the channel where we explore fascinating coins, hidden varieties, historical treasures, and the details collectors should never ignore. And today, you need to pay very close attention because we are counting down 3 remarkable coins that have captured the imagination of collectors. One of them comes from Hong Kong and carries the portrait of a monarch whose image traveled across the world. Another has a story that makes collectors stop, look twice, and examine every detail. And by the time we reach the final coin, you may understand why experienced collectors never judge a coin simply by its size, its face value, or the fact that it looks ordinary at first glance. So don't rush through this video. Watch closely. Listen to the dates. Study the designs. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest detail can completely change the conversation. And remember, American Coin Secrets brings you fresh coin discoveries, collecting stories, analyses, and updated information every day. Now take a deep breath, because we are starting the countdown with coin number 1. A small Hong Kong 10-cent piece dated 1974. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary circulating coin, but its history is much bigger than its size. And before the market discussion later in this segment, there is something important you need to know about this particular coin that makes checking the exact date, design, authenticity, and condition absolutely essential. Let's begin. First up, now collectors, here is where the story gets interesting. Hold a 1974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin in your hand, and you are holding more than a simple denomination. You are holding a physical reminder of Hong Kong's colonial-era monetary history and of a period when coins carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. And this is exactly why coin collecting can become so exciting. A person can see the number 10 and think only about face value. But a collector sees something else. A collector starts asking questions. What year was it made? Which design type is it? What is the composition? How many were produced? Is the coin genuine? Has it been altered? Is there an unusual variety? What condition has it survived in after decades of circulation? Those questions are where the real treasure hunt begins. The 1974 issue belongs to the Hong Kong 10-cent series associated with the first Elizabeth II portrait and a reeded edge. Numismatic references list the 1974 issue with a mintage of about 4.6 million pieces. And while millions may sound like an enormous number, that number alone never tells the complete story of a collectible coin. Because decades pass, coins circulate, coins are lost, coins are damaged, some are cleaned improperly, others corrode, become scratched, or disappear into old collections. And as the years move forward, collectors become more selective about exactly what they want. That is why a date should never be examined in isolation. The individual condition and exact variety can matter enormously. To understand why this coin attracts attention, we have to step back into the history surrounding Hong Kong's currency. Hong Kong's coinage developed through a long and complex monetary history, reflecting changing governments, trade, economic conditions, and political eras. The 10-cent denomination itself has a long history in Hong Kong, with the denomination continuing through multiple design and composition changes over time. By 1974, Hong Kong was still under British administration, and the image of Queen Elizabeth II on the coin immediately connected this small piece of currency to a much larger chapter of world history. That is one of the things that gives old coins their emotional power. A coin is a time capsule. It can survive governments, economic changes, migrations, family generations, and the complete transformation of the places where it once circulated. Think about it. When this 1974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin was new, the world looked very different. The coin could have passed through countless hands. It could have been used in shops, saved in a purse, forgotten in a box, or placed into a collection decades ago. And today, collectors can still hold that same year of history in their hands. That connection between history and physical survival is one of the reasons numismatics remains such a fascinating hobby. Now let's move closer and examine what this coin actually is. Numismatic specifications for the 1974 Hong Kong 10 cents list the composition as nickel brass with a weight of approximately 4.46 grams and a diameter of approximately 20.5 millimeters. The edge is described as reeded. That nickel brass composition gives the coin its characteristic appearance and immediately distinguishes it from earlier eras in which Hong Kong's smaller denominations could use different metallic compositions. But here's something every collector should remember. Never assume that a coin is rare simply because it is old, gold-colored, foreign, or unfamiliar. And never assume that a coin is ordinary simply because it has a common-looking design. The answer is always in the details. The exact date, the portrait, the lettering, the edge, the dimensions, the metal, the weight, the surface, the mint characteristics, and, when applicable, any documented variety or minting error. That is why serious collectors examine coins carefully instead of relying on dramatic claims or a single online listing. On the obverse, the coin features a crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II facing right, connecting the piece to the British colonial period of Hong Kong. On the reverse, English inscriptions surround the central Chinese legend, creating a design that visually represents Hong Kong's linguistic and historical identity. And this is where the coin becomes especially interesting for collectors of world coins. You have a denomination from Hong Kong. You have Chinese characters. You have English lettering. And you have the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Three different historical and cultural elements come together on one relatively small circulating coin. That makes this issue more than just an object with a number stamped onto it. It is a piece of monetary history. And if you have one, don't just glance at it and throw it back into a jar. Take a moment. Look at the date, 1974. Look carefully at the portrait. Inspect the lettering. Examine the edge. Compare the weight and diameter with published specifications if you have the proper equipment. And most importantly, do not clean it. That last point is extremely important. A coin that looks dark, old, or toned may still have desirable original surfaces. Aggressive cleaning can permanently damage those surfaces and can reduce collector appeal. The goal is not to make an old coin look brand new. The goal is to preserve what history left behind. Now here comes the part where we need to separate excitement from exaggeration. The 1974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin is an interesting historical issue. But the standard 1974 circulation coin should not automatically be described as an ultra-rare $77,000 coin in fine condition. Published reference data lists approximately 4.6 million pieces for the 1974 date, and current reference valuations for ordinary examples are far below the figure of $77,000. That does not mean you should ignore the coin. Quite the opposite. It means you should investigate it properly. Because a dramatic valuation requires dramatic evidence. A genuine major mint error, a rare and documented variety, an unusual pattern, a special provenance, or an exceptionally rare certified piece can have a completely different market from a normal circulation strike. And that is exactly why collectors should never stop at the first number they see online. A coin's true market position depends on identifying the exact coin, not merely the date, not merely the denomination, not merely a photograph that looks similar. The exact coin. The coin described for this video is in fine condition. In numismatics, condition is a major part of the story. A circulated fine-grade coin has visible evidence of use and wear, and important design details may be softened compared with higher-grade examples. But that does not mean the coin has no collector interest. Condition tells part of its journey. Every mark can represent circulation. Every softened detail reflects the passage of time. And for a historical coin, that survival story can be part of its appeal. However, condition also has a direct relationship with value. A coin that is genuinely rare can become especially desirable when it survives in exceptional condition. Meanwhile, a more available coin may require an unusual variety, error, provenance, or exceptionally high certified grade to command a dramatic premium. So if you own a 1,974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin in fine condition, the smartest move is not to immediately assume you are holding a fortune. The smartest move is to authenticate and identify it. Compare it with reliable catalog images. Check the weight. Measure the diameter. Look for evidence of alteration. And if you believe there is a significant variety or error, consider professional authentication or an experienced numismatic evaluation. Because sometimes the difference between an ordinary coin and a truly special coin is not the date everyone can see. It is the detail that almost everyone misses. Now let's address the huge number attached to this coin description. The claimed market value provided for this 1,974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin in fine condition is $77,000. But I need to be completely clear with the audience. I cannot honestly present $77,000 as an absolutely current, verified market value for a normal 1,974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin in fine condition because available published reference information does not support that figure for the standard circulation issue. Current catalog-style reference estimates show ordinary 1,974 examples at vastly lower levels depending on condition and marketplace. If a specific specimen has been offered, sold, or appraised at an extraordinary level, the crucial question is why. Was it a major mint error? Was it a previously documented rarity? Was it a unique variety? Was it certified with an unusual attribution? Did it have exceptional provenance? Was the sale actually completed, rather than merely listed at an asking price? These questions matter because an online asking price is not the same thing as a verified market sale. And that is the real secret serious collectors understand. The biggest discoveries do not come from believing every spectacular number. They come from doing the detective work. So what should you do if you have a 1,974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin? First, preserve it exactly as it is. Avoid polishing, scrubbing, chemical dipping, or any attempt to artificially brighten the surface. Next, inspect both sides under good lighting. Look for unusual doubling. Look for missing or distorted design elements. Look for an off-center strike. Look for a clipped planchet. Look for an unusual edge. Look for dramatic die damage that can be distinguished from ordinary post-mint damage. Then, check the coin's physical specifications against recognized references. The standard specifications listed for this issue are nickel brass, approximately 4.46 grams, and 20.5 millimeters in diameter. If something does not match, do not immediately conclude that you have discovered a rare treasure. Counterfeits, damage, environmental effects, measurement errors, and altered coins can also create unusual appearances. Document everything. Take sharp photographs of both sides. Photograph the edge. Record the weight. Record the diameter. And if the coin appears genuinely unusual, seek an opinion from a reputable numismatic professional or authentication service. This is how a collector turns excitement into evidence. So, what is the real lesson behind the 1,974 Hong Kong 10-cent coin? Never underestimate the story behind a small coin. But also, never let excitement replace verification. This piece carries a fascinating combination of Hong Kong history, British colonial-era imagery, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, Chinese and English design elements, and a place in the long history of Hong Kong's 10-cent denomination. The standard 1,974 issue had a reported mintage of approximately 4.6 million pieces, making it important to distinguish the ordinary circulation coin from any genuinely rare variety, error, or exceptional specimen. And that is where the real thrill begins, because your next great discovery may not announce itself with flashing lights. It may sit quietly in an old collection. It may have been overlooked for decades. It may require research. It may require authentication. And it may require you to notice one detail that everyone else ignored. That is the treasure hunt. That is the suspense. And that is why we keep searching. But don't go anywhere, because this is we still have 2 more coins in today's countdown, and the next one could bring an entirely different story, a different history, and another reason to look at old coins with fresh eyes. So stay right here with American Coin Secrets. We bring you fresh updates, fascinating coin stories, collecting knowledge, and new discoveries every day. Now get ready, because coin number 2 is coming next. And this is where today's countdown becomes even more exciting. Next up, and now collectors, the countdown moves to coin number 2. At first glance, this coin may look incredibly ordinary. A small denomination, a familiar national design, a date that does not seem ancient, and a coin that for many people could easily disappear into a pile of loose change without receiving a second look. But that is exactly what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Because sometimes the most exciting discoveries begin with a coin that nobody expected to be important. This is the 2014 Ukraine 25 Kopyok. And before we discuss the extraordinary $45,000 claim attached to the coin described for this video, we need to go beneath the surface and examine exactly what this piece is, how it was made, what varieties exist, and why identifying the precise version is absolutely essential. So stay with me, because the story of this little Ukrainian coin becomes far more interesting when you start looking at the details. The Ukrainian 25 Kopyok belongs to the modern currency system of independent Ukraine. The denomination represented 1/4 of a hryvnia, and the 25 Kopyok coin circulated as part of everyday Ukrainian commerce before the denomination was withdrawn from circulation in the country's later cash reforms. The 2014 issue therefore represents a physical piece of Ukraine's modern monetary history. And that is something collectors should never overlook. Not every collectible coin has to be centuries old. Not every interesting coin has to come from a forgotten empire. Sometimes a relatively modern coin becomes fascinating because of the historical period in which it was created, the varieties associated with its production, or the differences between ordinary circulation pieces and special collector issues. The 2014 25 Kopyok was struck at the National Bank of Ukraine's minting facility in Kyiv. Published numismatic specifications identify the standard magnetic version as part of the series issued from 2014 through 2018. So when you hold this coin, you are not simply holding a small piece of brass-colored metal. You are holding a surviving object from a specific chapter of Ukraine's modern history. And for collectors, history is where the search always begins. Now let's get closer. The 2014 Ukraine 25 Kopyok is listed as being made from brass-plated steel. The standard magnetic version has a weight of approximately 2.9 grams, a diameter of approximately 20.8 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.35 millimeters. Its edge has segmented reading. Those specifications may sound like simple technical details, but for a serious collector, they can become part of the investigation. Why? Because the exact composition can help distinguish different varieties. The 2014 date is associated with both circulation and collector set distinctions. Numismatic references identify a magnetic circulation version and a non-magnetic proof-like issue associated with sets. One reference lists the standard 2014 magnetic issue with a reported mintage of 165 million pieces, while a separate proof-like set issue is listed at 10,000 pieces. And suddenly, the investigation becomes much more interesting. Because now you cannot simply say, I have a 2014 Ukraine 25 Kopyok. You have to ask a more important question. Is it magnetic? Is it non-magnetic? Is it a standard circulation strike? Could it be a collector set issue? Has it been altered? Does the weight match the expected specifications? These are the questions that separate casual curiosity from serious numismatic investigation. The obverse features Ukraine's national coat of arms, with the country's name in Cyrillic and the date 2014 below. The reverse displays the denomination 25 Kopyok, surrounded by the decorative design associated with the series. It is a design that carries a clear national identity. The Ukrainian coat of arms immediately gives the coin a symbolic presence, while the Cyrillic lettering and denomination establish its place within the country's currency system. And here is something important for viewers watching from the United States. Foreign coins are often overlooked simply because people cannot immediately read the language or recognize the design. Someone may find a coin in an inherited collection, a world coin jar, an old travel souvenir box, or an international assortment and assume that unfamiliar automatically means worthless. That assumption can be dangerous. But the opposite assumption can also be dangerous. An unfamiliar foreign coin is not automatically a fortune. The real excitement comes from identification. The date matters. The variety matters. The metal matters. The magnetic properties can matter. The strike can matter. And the condition can matter. That is why every collector should slow down before making a judgment. Now here is where coin number 2 becomes especially interesting. The standard 2014 circulation issue is listed as a magnetic brass-plated steel coin, while a non-magnetic version was issued as a proof-like coin for collector sets. That means a simple magnet can become part of your initial examination. If you have a genuine 2014 25 kopyok, carefully test it with an ordinary magnet without scraping or damaging the coin. But remember, this is only a preliminary test. Magnetism alone does not prove rarity. It does not prove authenticity. And it certainly does not automatically prove that the coin is worth a fortune. Instead, it gives you another clue. And coin collecting is all about clues. A date is a clue. A design is a clue. A composition is a clue. A weight is a clue. An unusual strike is a clue. A documented variety is a clue. The collector who learns to connect those clues is the collector who gives themselves the best chance of recognizing something genuinely unusual. The coin described for this video is in fine condition. That means the coin has circulated and shows visible wear from use. Its surfaces may no longer have the sharpness or original luster of an uncirculated example, but it still carries its history. A fine condition coin has traveled. It has been handled. It has survived years of circulation and then somehow found its way into your collection, your coin jar, or perhaps an old group of world coins. And that survival story is part of what makes coin collecting emotional. You are holding something that has already lived a journey. But collectors must also understand that condition plays a major role in market demand. When a standard coin exists in large numbers, exceptional preservation can attract more attention than a heavily circulated example. At the same time, a truly rare variety may remain interesting even when circulated. That is why the phrase fine condition cannot be separated from the exact variety. The first step is identifying the coin. The second step is determining whether it is a standard issue, collector set issue, or a documented variety. Only after that can a realistic market comparison begin. Now comes the moment where we have to separate the thrill of discovery from the facts. Available numismatic data does not support the idea that every ordinary 2014 Ukraine 25 kopyok is an ultra-rare treasure. The standard magnetic 2014 circulation issue is listed with a reported mintage of approximately 165 million pieces. That is why the exact variety is so important. A standard circulation coin and a special collector set issue are not necessarily the same thing. One Ukrainian coin reference published in 2025 also distinguishes between the common magnetic circulation version and the non-magnetic set version, placing dramatically different local market estimates on those categories. So don't make the mistake of stopping at the date. The date is only the beginning. The real question is, that is where the investigation becomes exciting. Now let's address the spectacular figure connected to the coin described for this video. The claimed current market value provided is $45,000 for a 2014 Ukraine 25 kopyok in fine condition. That number is undeniably attention-grabbing. But based on the available current numismatic references, I cannot truthfully state that $45,000 is an absolutely current, verified market value for a standard 2014 Ukraine 25 kopyok in fine condition. The available data points dramatically lower for ordinary examples. Numista currently lists the standard 2014 magnetic issue at approximately $0.16 in fine condition, while other published catalog-style references also place normal examples at only a fraction of $1. These figures are reference estimates and marketplace indications, rather than guarantees of a sale price. That does not mean you should ignore an unusual specimen. It means that an extraordinary value requires extraordinary evidence. For a coin to command a dramatic premium, there would need to be a specific reason supported by authentication, a recognized variety, a major minting error, exceptional provenance, a unique characteristic, or a documented sale history. And that is where the real treasure hunt begins. If someone claims a specific 2014-25 Kopiok is worth $45,000, ask to see the evidence. Ask for the certification. Ask for the auction record. Ask for the variety attribution. Ask whether the price is a completed sale or simply an unsold asking price. Because the difference between an asking price and a verified market sale can be enormous. If you own one of these coins, begin with preservation. Do not polish it. Do not scrub it. Do not attempt to chemically brighten it. Do not scratch the surface while testing it. Instead, inspect it under strong, even lighting. Look carefully at the date. Study the national arms. Compare the lettering. Inspect the reverse denomination. Examine the edge. Then check the coin's weight and diameter against the published specifications. A standard example is listed at approximately 2.9 grams and 20.8 millimeters in diameter. After that, carefully check whether the coin responds to a magnet. Again, do not assume that magnetic or non-magnetic automatically means valuable. Use the result as part of a larger identification process. If your coin appears unusual, photograph both sides at high resolution. Photograph the edge. Record its exact weight. Record the diameter. And compare it with reliable catalog images. If you believe you have discovered a major error or an unusual variety, seek an opinion from a reputable numismatic expert or authentication service before accepting any dramatic valuation. Here is the important thing. A coin does not need to be worth tens of thousands of dollars to be interesting. The 2014 Ukraine 25 Kopiok deserves attention because it offers collectors a chance to learn one of the most important lessons in modern coin collecting. The standard circulation version is one thing. A limited collector set issue is another. A genuine and documented mint error could be another story entirely. That is why research matters. And that is why you should never throw an unfamiliar coin aside without first identifying it properly. Your greatest discovery may not come from believing every unbelievable price. It may come from noticing that your coin is genuinely different from the ordinary examples. That is the moment when curiosity becomes research, and research becomes discovery. So, collectors, the 2014 Ukraine 25 Kopiok is a powerful reminder that the smallest details can change the entire conversation. Check the date. Check the composition. Check the weight. Check the diameter. Check whether it is magnetic. And investigate the exact variety before making any conclusion about rarity or value. The standard 2014 magnetic circulation issue is widely represented in numismatic references, while a separate limited proof-like set issue is also documented. That is what makes the search exciting. Not blind promises, not unsupported numbers, but the possibility that careful observation could reveal something genuinely different. So if you have an old box of foreign coins sitting somewhere, don't ignore it. Take your time. Look closely. Study every day, because sometimes the coin everyone else sees as ordinary is the coin that teaches you the most important collecting lesson of all. And remember, right here on American Coin Secrets, we bring you fresh updates, fascinating coin stories, collector knowledge, mitzvah, and new discoveries every day. But the countdown is not over. We have reached coin number 2. And now there is only one coin left. Coin number 3 is waiting. And if you thought the story of these first 2 coins was exciting, get ready. Because the final coin could bring an entirely new mystery to the search. Stay with American Coin Secrets. The final reveal is coming next. Next up. And now, collectors, we have reached the final coin in today's countdown. Coin number 3. This is the moment when I want you to slow down, look carefully, and imagine discovering an old foreign coin hidden inside a forgotten collection. You pick it up. You see Greek lettering. You see the year 1984. You see the denomination 1 drachma. And perhaps your first thought is exactly the same thought thousands of people have had when they discover an unfamiliar foreign coin. Is this just an old piece of change, or is there something here that I need to investigate? That question is where the excitement begins, because the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Sometimes a coin is valuable because of its rarity, sometimes because of an unusual variety, sometimes because of an important mint error, sometimes because of extraordinary condition. and sometimes because a specific specimen has a story or provenance that completely separates it from ordinary examples. So before we reveal the huge $65,000 claim attached to the coin described in this video, let's uncover exactly what the 1984 Greece 1 drachma really is. And collectors, pay attention, because this small coin carries a direct connection to modern Greek history and to a denomination with an extraordinary historical legacy. The name drachma is one of the most historically powerful names in the entire world of money. For thousands of years, Greece has been associated with some of the earliest and most influential forms of coinage. Ancient Greek coins became famous for their artistic designs, historical importance, and connection to city-states, rulers, mythology, trade, and civilization. Of course, the 1984 1 drachma is a modern coin, not an ancient Greek issue. But it still carries the famous name drachma, linking a modern piece of currency to one of the most recognizable monetary traditions in history. The 1984 issue belongs to the Third Hellenic Republic and to Greece's third modern drachma currency system. The 1 drachma type was issued from 1976 through 1986 and later ceased to be legal tender when Greece adopted the euro. And that is what makes this coin historically interesting. It represents a period of modern Greece that has already passed into monetary history. Today, the drachma is no longer Greece's circulating currency. So when you hold this coin, you are holding a surviving piece from the era before Greece's transition to the euro. That alone gives the coin a fascinating place in a world coin collection. The 1984 Greece 1 drachma was produced as a circulation coin and published numismatic data records a mintage of approximately 665,000 pieces for that year. Now, that number immediately teaches us an important lesson. A coin can be old enough to represent a previous currency system and still have been produced in substantial quantities. That is why collectors must never judge rarity based on age alone. The date 1984 may sound distant. The word drachma may sound ancient. The Greek lettering may make the coin look mysterious to collectors in the United States. But the exact mintage and variety still matter. And this is where the real detective work begins. A coin collector does not stop after reading the date. A serious collector asks, is this the standard issue? Does the weight match? Does the composition match? Are there unusual characteristics? Could there be a documented variety? Could the coin contain a significant mint error? Has the coin been altered or damaged? And does the exact specimen have anything that separates it from the millions of normal pieces originally produced? Those questions can take an ordinary-looking coin and turn the examination into a genuine numismatic investigation. The standard Greece 1 drachma type of this period is listed as nickel brass, composed of approximately 79% copper, 20% zinc, and 1% nickel. The published specifications list a weight of approximately 4 grams, a diameter of approximately 21 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.45 millimeters. These details may sound technical, but they are extremely important. A collector who has a precise scale and a reliable measuring tool can compare a suspicious or unusual coin against the expected specifications. If the coin is significantly different, that does not automatically mean it is rare. It could be damaged. It could be altered. It could be counterfeit. Or the measurement could be inaccurate. But an unusual result can give the collector another reason to investigate. And that is the real excitement of coin collecting. You are not simply looking at metal. You are collecting clues. The weight is a clue. The diameter is a clue. The edge is a clue. The design is a clue. The lettering is a clue. The date is a clue. And occasionally one unusual characteristic can lead to a much bigger discovery. Now take a closer look at the design. The 1984 Greece 1 drachma features a corvette, a boat associated with 1821, with the denomination and date incorporated into the design. The inscriptions identify the Hellenic Republic. The type is credited to engravers Nikos Perantinos and Lambros Orphanos. And suddenly, this little coin becomes much more than a number and a date. The ship connects the design to an important chapter of Greek national history. A coin is one of the smallest historical objects a person can hold. yet it can carry symbols of an entire nation: a ship, a date, a national identity, a currency system, and a reminder of the historical events that inspired the design. That is why world coins can be so addictive to collect. Every country tells its story differently. Every design represents something, and sometimes a small coin can open the door to an entire chapter of history that you never knew existed. Now, the coin described in this video is in fine condition. That means this is a circulated specimen showing the effects of time and use. The high points of the design may display wear. The original mint brilliance may no longer be present. But the coin has survived decades since its production, and that survival is part of its story. However, collectors should understand that condition and rarity work together. A standard circulation coin with a high original mintage generally needs something special, such as an important documented variety, a major mint error, exceptional provenance, or another extraordinary characteristic to justify an extremely high valuation. Fine condition alone does not transform a common circulation issue into a six-figure treasure. The real question is whether the coin is more than the standard issue. And that is exactly why careful identification is so important. Now, collectors, here is the moment when we separate appearance from evidence. The standard 1984 Greece 1 drachma had a reported mintage of approximately 33,665 million pieces. That means the ordinary 1984 circulation issue cannot simply be described as ultra-rare based on the date alone. But this does not mean you should ignore your coin. It means you should examine it more intelligently. The possibility worth investigating is whether your individual coin has something unusual that distinguishes it from a normal example. Look carefully for major mint errors. Look for dramatic off-center strikes. Look for unusual plancher problems. Look for significant doubled features that are genuinely created during the minting process rather than ordinary damage. Look for unusual die characteristics that can be documented and compared. And always remember this: scratches, dents, corrosion, and post-mint damage can sometimes look dramatic without being collectible errors. That is why authentication matters. The greatest discoveries are not made by assuming every strange-looking coin is rare. They are made by proving that something genuinely unusual happened during its creation. Now, the $65,000 value claim. And now we come to the dramatic number attached to this particular coin. The claimed current market value provided for this 1984 Greece 1 drachma in fine condition is $65,000. That is a massive figure. It sounds like the kind of discovery that could make any collector's heart race. But collectors, accuracy matters. I cannot truthfully tell viewers that $65,000 is an absolutely current, verified market value for an ordinary 1984 Greece 1 drachma in fine condition because available numismatic reference data does not support that claim for the standard circulation issue. Current reference estimates for the normal 1984 issue list, approximately $0.14 in fine condition, with higher grades still generally listed at modest levels. These are catalog-style indications based on community evaluations and online sales data, not guaranteed selling prices. So if a specific specimen is being associated with a value anywhere near $65,000, there must be evidence explaining why that individual coin is dramatically different from the standard issue. And that evidence could include a recognized and authenticated major error, a rare documented variety, extraordinary provenance, or a verified high-value auction result. This is where the real treasure hunt becomes serious. Do not accept a huge number simply because someone posted it online. Ask the most important question: what makes this exact coin different? If the answer can be proven, then you may have something worth serious attention. If not, the coin should be valued as the actual type and condition that it is. And that is how genuine collectors protect themselves while still keeping the excitement alive. If you have this coin, begin by preserving it. Do not polish it. Do not scrub it. Do not use chemicals to make it shine. Original surfaces can be important, and cleaning can reduce collector appeal. Instead, inspect the coin carefully under strong, even lighting. Study the ship design. Study the Greek lettering. Study the date 1984. Examine the rim and edge. Then, if possible, weigh the coin accurately and compare it with the standard specification of approximately 4 grams. Measure the diameter and compare it with the published 21 mm specification. If something appears dramatically different, document it. Take clear photographs of both sides. Take a photograph of the edge. Record the weight and measurements. Then compare your coin with reliable numismatic references. And if you believe the coin contains a significant mint error or unusual variety, seek professional evaluation before making any major financial decision. Because proof is what transforms a possibility into a real discovery. The 1,984 Greece 1 drachma may not be an automatic $65,000 treasure, but that does not make its story less interesting. This coin represents a former Greek currency. It carries the historic name of the drachma. It features a ship connected with Greece's historical identity, and it belongs to a chapter of modern European monetary history that ended with the adoption of the euro. For collectors of world coins, that makes it a fascinating piece of history. And for new collectors, it teaches an even more valuable lesson. Never judge a coin by only one thing. Not by its size, not by its age, not by an exciting online asking price, and not even by the denomination. Research the exact coin. Because the real value of knowledge is that it helps you recognize the difference between an ordinary coin and a genuinely exceptional discovery. So there you have it, collectors. The final coin in today's countdown is the 1,984 Greece 1 drachma. A small coin, a famous monetary name, a historical ship, a connection to modern Greece, and a reminder that every coin deserves a closer look before anyone decides what it is worth. The standard 1,984 issue had a substantial reported mintage of approximately 33,665 million pieces, and available current reference estimates place a normal fine condition example at only a small fraction of a dollar, not $65,000. But if your coin has an unusual and verifiable feature, the story can change. That is why you should look carefully. Preserve what you find. Research the details. And never let an extraordinary claim replace real evidence. Because somewhere in the world, collectors are still opening old boxes, inherited collections, forgotten jars and dusty albums. They are still examining dates, still checking varieties, still searching for that one detail everyone else missed. And that is what makes coin collecting one of the greatest treasure hunts in the world. Thank you for watching American Coin Secrets. Remember, our channel brings you fresh coin updates, fascinating collecting stories, rare coin research, and new discoveries every day. If you enjoyed this countdown, keep watching, keep searching, and most importantly, keep looking closely at every coin that passes through your hands. Because the next discovery may begin with something that looks completely ordinary. And sometimes, the most valuable thing you can have as a collector is not a coin. It is the knowledge to recognize when a coin is truly special.